Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Players Take, episode 66. I am your host, Justin D. Simone, joined by my co-host, a man thinking about eating his neighbors, Montrell Rice.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's going on, man? Yeah, I'm sure many of you have heard, that rant by Alex Jones last week or whenever it was about eating his neighbors or whatever. Well, I happened to stumble upon a video today, and Montrell had already seen it, that it's a remix of his quotes in musical form. So I'm going to play a little bit for you. Can you hear it now?
Yeah, now we can hear it.
I'm somebody that thought I could fix this, and I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbor. I'm going to haul him up by a chain. I will eat your ass. I'll do it. You think I like sizing up my neighbor? Gonna chop his ass up.
Texas classic.
Oh my gosh. Hold on, let me credit the YouTuber here. The Gregory Brothers. This is great shit. Go look at it. Go check this out. This video is hilarious. It's like a minute long. It's awesome. I've been listening to it all day because it is so funny. I could not stop. It's just I love those like Songify remix things. I don't know why. I have like a weird obsession with them because they're hilarious. Anyways, this is a video game show. This, for those of you who haven't listened before, is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And starting this week, we are also going to be posting on YouTube on Saturdays, 6 a.m. Central Time. So look forward to that as well. You will be able to watch gameplay of Montrell and I playing various multiplayer games and sucking at them or being good at them. Who knows? Depends on what Montrell picks for the video, I'm going to be indiscriminate though and give him everything. I'm not going to just pump up my good games. I got dominated in Legends of Runeterra last night. I was recording it, so you might see it. Anyways, Montrell, how are you doing, sir? How's life treating you? How are the games treating you? Based on your games played list, I'm not sure I'm almost concerned for your mental state. One game. He's got one game on his list, folks. One game.
Yeah, I've been playing this one game for a while.
And that one game is?
Dragon Age Origins.
Which you talked about last week a little bit.
I did talk about it last week, but I didn't play it last week, I don't think. Or did I? Yeah, no, I didn't play it last week. I was playing something else.
Did you beat it?
No, I haven't beat this fucking game.
It's long, dude. It's not a short game.
Yeah, I'm about to just like steamroll through it. It is a long game, and so I text you Monday. No,
yeah,
I don't know. It was a Monday. Yeah, Monday. Saying how much I fucking hate the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right after that, I downloaded Dragon Age 2.
Yep, I saw that.
Immediately benched that game and went back to Dragon Age Origins. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I like this game.
Yeah, Montrell went through about an hour on Twitter, and let me take you through the stages of this. So he texted me on what was it, Monday, right?
Yeah, I think it was Monday
Sunday.
or Sunday.
It might have been Sunday. He texted me on Sunday, and he's like, I fucking hate this game. Fuck Dragon Age Origins. And I just go, I think I just laughed at you. And then I see him on Twitter posting about it, and he's like, I fucking hate this game. The fade sucks. This area is terrible. And then he's like, all right, I'm booting up Dragon Age 2. Oh, man, this combat slaps. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. And then he's like, a half hour later, man, I'm going back to Dragon Age Origins. So take me through the stages of this, Montrell, in your head, because I only got like the outward expression of frustration. So what happened? What happened? What did the fade do to you, Montrell? What did the fade do to you? I looked this up after you texted me about it, or actually after I saw you talking about it, and I do vaguely remember the fade.
Okay. So the fade is like you go into the afterlife, which is their version of the afterlife, where the demons and stuff live at and everything like that, or spirits or whatever. Anyway, long story short, you get separated from your party and you have to fight this demon that has it's like 7 stages that you have to fight, or you have to have you have to unlock, you have to fight
I think you have to
6
fight
or
5 bosses to unlock
5 bosses,
the
5
final
sub bosses to fight the final boss.
Right. It's a huge area from what I was reading.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot about this. I mean, I haven't played the game in 10 years, so give me a break. I don't remember all the details of this game, but
Totally understandable.
yeah.
So in the Fade, you also get spirits or unlocks that you unlock to go through different parts of the Fade. It's like a mini game within the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's totally different from the rest of the game. The rest of the game, you have a party. This game, you are the party. Like, it's just one person, and you have 4 different spirits that you can transform into, and they all have different powers and things of that nature. The thing is, the game doesn't really explain that to you.
Yeah.
And then there are certain parts that you just literally have to explore. Like, the game, that part of the game is like super open, if that makes any sense, but there's corridors everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to explore and then hope you don't get shitted on by a mob.
Yeah.
And I kept getting shitted on by mobs because I didn't have the right spirit form at the time. But once you unlock all 4 of them, that part of the game actually becomes like kind of manageable and fun because you can transform like on the fly while you're doing your spell combos. You can transfer to another form and do stuff. So I had a lot more moves at my disposal. So I know a lot of people, if we ever get a big audience or whatever, and they come to this channel, this episode, I am not a CRPG guy. I don't play CRPGs a lot at all.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a CRPG light for me.
Yeah.
I thought I can go into this game playing it on a console. No. You play Dragon Age, and this is a warning for everybody. Do not play it on console. It is the worst experience I've ever had in my life. Not in my life, I just over-exaggerate. But it's a really bad experience. It does not do the game justice. This game needs to be played on PC.
Yeah, I mean, I could say the same thing about another CRPG, Pillars of Eternity. I played it on PS4, and it was okay. But, dude, by the end of the game, by the time I put the game down, I wanted to fucking murder it. It was awful. So don't play these games on PS4.
Okay. Yeah,
or
so
Xbox.
Or Xbox or console in general. Because I'm playing Dragon Age on Xbox. So the thing is, with Dragon Age, you can freeze time or pause time and then issue commands out to your units that you have. You have a 4-person party, and you can issue out commands and things of that nature. The problem is on the PC version, you can do an overhead view and you can move them on the map, like the strategic points, and move them and do what you need to do. So if you need to kite enemies around, you can do that easily on PC. On Xbox, it's fucking terrible because they don't have an overhead view. You can only do over the shoulder camera. So you have to rely on that camera to make tactics. Yeah, it's really bad. So this game also throws huge amounts of mobs at you. Like, I'm talking like sometime 10 up to 10 people will just ambush you. And it's very hard to manage on the Xbox because you have a tank, obviously. I mean, you can make your party anything you want to make, but I made a standard like MMO-ish type party. I'm a rogue, which is I'm a DPS. I have a second DPS, which is a mage who's more so for crowd control. And then I have another mage who's specialized in healing. And I have a tank, and he tanks everything.
Yeah.
So as I got further into the game, it became a lot more manageable to control these large mobs because you have to. So the game throws like these mobs at you early in the game where you don't even have the crowd control to manage these. You may have crowd control to manage one person, one minion, but like not huge mobs. I'm like level 15, 16 now. So now like my mages have crowd control where they can manage and freeze mobs, and I can target another mob and get that mob out and, do what I need to do now.
Yeah.
In the early stages of the game, this game is unforgiving. You move from area to area. These areas are huge, by the way. And some of the areas are small, and then some of the areas are huge. But when you move across the map, it's like really RPGs. So the loading screen is you moving across the map, if that makes any sense. You move from one area to the other. But within that, it's like a little line that shows you moving from, let's say, I'll just say like a random forest name. So you're going from like Kokiri Forest to Zoro's Domain. But instead of going to the Hyrule Field and physically walking the character there. It's like a line that shows your character progressing from Gary Forest to Zora's Domain. Now,
This
while your line
is pretty common in old CRPGs.
okay, so while you're doing that, anytime in there you can get a random encounter.
Yep.
And these random encounters, I looked it up online as well, and there are a lot of people bitching about the random encounters. Like, they're like, bro, how am I supposed to deal with, like, oh, I'll give you an example. I got a random encounter for a pack of wolves. It was like 8 of them that came at me. I'm only like level 5, level 3 maybe. And there's no way for me to see these mobs. And these wolves will just tear your party apart. Like, no matter how much you try to manage it, it's just a random look. Like, the dice rolls in this game are crazy. Like, this game is like, when they made this game, they knew who they made this game for, and it was definitely was the person like me. Because holy shit, I was just like, this game was made for PC, like, and they ported it to the Xbox. You can obviously tell because I feel like a lot, even when those ambushes, I could have managed my party a little bit better if I had more control over my party. Now they do have things called attack slots where you can tell your AI on that particular character what to do. So you have like 7 attack slots, and it's like, if ally is attacked, do this. If attacked by a ranged character, do this. If attacked by a melee character, do this. So you can get really in depth with it. And I've actually customized my party now to where I want them to do what I want them to do now. It was just really hard at the beginning of the game because the game throws a lot at you in text form. If that makes any sense, they don't really have a tutorial. It's just like, go out there and learn.
It's like a book, isn't it like a book, and it just has like they're like, here, read this.
Pretty much, that's exactly what it is. Their codex is just the writing team of BioWare. When this team made this game, they went fucking insane. Like, it's so much stuff to read. I think I literally have 5 hours of me just reading shit out of the codex.
I mean, dude, Dragon Age is it's a cool universe. Honestly.
It is.
It's like a weird take on. I feel like it's a weird take on Middle Earth.
Yeah,
but it's because I remember Dragon Age 1. I feel like it was. I don't remember it being a particularly like super hard game personally, but I have much more experience with CRPGs, I guess. But I do remember specific sections of the game being insanely difficult, though. There were some encounters, particularly early in the game, that I do remember. It's a very common, like, I almost call it a trope at this point with CRPGs. The early game in CRPGs is fucking hard as shit because your party sucks. Like, your characters can't do anything. They literally have, like, one ability that they're good at, and then everything else is a fumble or a fail. You know, like, they can barely do anything. They're, like, worthless. So the early part of these games can be really, really, really hard as a result. Mages will just destroy you, and this is definitely true in Dragon Age. Mage encounters in Dragon Age Origins, I remember being extremely hard, where they would just like fucking fireball somebody and kill them in one hit. You know, it was. I remember. Did you get to this point? There was a mage tower that you had to like ascend, and like defeat the mage in the tower. And I remember you go in the tower, and the first thing that happens is you get thrown into this giant combat encounter, and you're surrounded. And a mage immediately just fireballs where your whole party is standing. Like, you can't even avoid it. I don't even think. It was insane. It took me I remember that taking me hours to beat that encounter. So I remember what you're talking about somewhat. I don't remember the game overall like feeling like super frustrating, but the later in the game you get, I feel like it's significantly easier, like you said, because your party is way more powerful. You have more spells at your disposal, more abilities. Way more CC. The enemies just like can't even do anything against you at certain points. So it's like you kind of go from like pathetically weak to like a god at a certain point. You hit like a threshold, and once you eclipse that threshold, you're just kind of unstoppable.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I realized. Like, first of all, I just really love the story. I don't, like I said, I'm not a huge medieval guy or a fantasy guy rather, but I really do love the story. I'm buttering up to a lot of these stories and stuff like that. And when I played the beginning part of Dragon Age 2, that takes place at the same time as Dragon Age 1. So your character is not the character that you build in Dragon Age 2 or Dragon Age Origins he does exist, but he's like doing your adventure simultaneously while you're in Kirkwall doing your adventure. So I didn't get that. I maybe played Dragon Age 2 for like 30 minutes and then I stopped playing because I was just so interested in the world and like what was going on, things of that nature. And your impacts, your some of the decisions that you do make in Dragon Age 2 or Dragon Age Origins rather will impact Dragon Age 2, but not, it's like an indirect thing. Like who you pick to choose king and you know what you decide to do at the mage tower and things of that nature and all the other things of that nature. So so I'm going to go. That's why I want to go back and play Origins, because I'm like, I want to decide this world I'm going to shape, and even your decisions that you make in Origins affects your decisions in Inquisition, or how the world is shaped in Inquisition.
Really?
So
Fuck.
yeah.
Oh man. Oh, that kind of sucks. Cause dude, I literally I was telling you, like, I was in a weird mood this weekend and I couldn't figure out what to play, and I downloaded Dragon Age Inquisition on my PlayStation, and I'm thinking about playing it. So man, that kind of sucks actually. But I have like I played Dragon Age Origins on is long gone. That's like 2 computers ago. I doubt I have that saved anywhere. So nothing I can do about that. Do you remember in Dragon Age Inquisition though? Do you get like a Mass Effect-esque like intro where you get to like pick major decisions or anything like that?
I can't remember. I gotta go back and play it, but I do believe it's something of that nature. You can choose, like, they don't have like a Mass Effect. What's it called? Arrival, or not Arrival, but
No, it was like an intro comic or something.
yeah, I don't think they have that. But the decisions you do make, the decisions you made in Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2 will impact your world in Dragon Age Inquisition. But not by transferring your existing saves. EA today has a detailed Dragon Age keep that allow you to recreate the story. So I guess you can do that. You can recreate the story, and that's how you can impact it like that.
Got it.
But from what I understood, I remember playing Dragon Age Origins, and it said log into your EA account, and you can import it from there, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So I haven't played Dragon Age Inquisition in like 2 or 3 years. So once I get through it, this one, and once I get through Origins and then 2, I'm gonna go play Dragon Age Inquisition. But there is ways that carry over your saves and stuff like that. So I think that's cool. But yeah, so once I learned all that, that's why I went back and played Origins, because Origins is fucking huge. I can see I haven't played all of 2 yet. I didn't even get past the tutorial level in 2. But from what I've understood, 2 only takes place in one city, so I can understand why people were upset about that when that game first got released. Because this game, Dragon Age Origins, like I said, is fucking huge. You have different lands. You meet I forgot when I played Inquisition, I didn't even know about the dwarves. I didn't know about Ozamar, and I'm like, oh shit, we got dwarves. Like, I knew we had dwarves, but I thought they were just like another like subsection of humans. Like they're their own people and they have their own culture and everything.
Yep.
You learn that in Dragon Age Origins, as well as the elves. Like in Inquisition, they barely touch on the elves. You get one elven party member, but like they don't really go into their history of like who they are. You know that they're like slaves to, or they used to be slaves to humans. They're like more the lowly races.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that was really different though was the what do you call them? The Cornari. They look really different in this game compared to Inquisition. In Inquisition, they have horns, all of them, and then in this game they don't have horns. And I think that was maybe just because of a graphical thing. They couldn't put the horns in those character models. That's what I'm thinking.
Or they just, I don't know, maybe they changed the design later when they flesh that group out more.
Yeah, probably. So, but you don't go to the Cornari homeland because they're just mercenaries on this land that you're on right now in Ferelden. And yeah, I think the game it has the same kind of fantasy trope where there's a large force, dark force coming, kind of Game of Thrones ish, you know.
More like Lord of the Rings, I'd say.
Okay, yeah, I can do Lord of the Rings. Yeah, more Lord of the Ring-ish, Middle Earth.
They don't have like I don't remember them having like a Sauron-esque figure though.
Well, that's the Archdemon.
Is it okay? Yeah, because they're called the Darkspawn, right?
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
And then the Archdemon controls all of them, and the Grey Wardens can hear the Archdemon's calls because they drunk the Darkspawn blood and become more powerful. They didn't get killed by the Darkspawn blood.
Yeah, and yeah, they have a really interesting origin story though, the Darkspawn, that you learn in that game. So there's a lot in the game. It's a big game. It's like, I don't know, 50 hours, 60 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you go all over the place too. Like you said, you get like the environments you get to see are vast and varied. Because yeah, you get to go to the capital city, I think, and that place is pretty large from what I remember.
Yep.
There's a lot to do there, and I think you do go to the Elven lands too, don't you?
Yeah, you go to the forest where one of your elven tribes are at, and you fight them. And they even got fucking werewolves in this game.
Right? Yeah. That's what I remember. Yeah, werewolf. There was a werewolf. There were werewolves in that section of the game, too.
Yeah, so I mean, even when you're within the cities themselves have that same kind of structure where you have to go from section to section. But when you go from one section of the city to the other section, you can have a random encounter between those sections.
Mm-hmm.
So the game is fucking huge. I appreciate it. I just feel like this is why I don't fault the game, and this is why I took back when I said the game was trash and I kept playing it. My issue was playing it on console. I don't see how people play this game on console at all. There are a lot of people out there who played it on console and they loved it.
Yeah.
I am not one of those people. If I'm going to do a second playthrough of this game, which I probably will do later on in the future, I'm going to play it on PC.
Yeah. No, it plays really well on PC. I mean, the isometric view is what the game is meant. It's the way the game is meant to be played. I can't believe they restricted that on console, but it must have been a like some kind of resource reason.
Yeah,
because this was Xbox 360 and PS3, which are pathetically weak consoles in terms of power. So they probably couldn't get the game to run in an isometric view, and they just had to force it into a third-person view. So I personally recommend the game. I'd love to play through it again. It's just CRPGs are really overwhelming games. They all kind of tend to be, because they all have that like same thing where you'll have like a giant city in the game and it's fucking massive. Like, and this game is no different in that, and it has like multiple sections of the city you get to go to, and there's tons of quests, and they're all interlocking with each other. And like, you remember the section in Novigrad in The Witcher 3?
Yeah.
How long that was? It's like 20, 30 hours, probably even more than that, maybe. Yeah. CRPGs all have a city like that where it's just like you spend like 20 hours of the game there, and it's absolutely huge. They all kind of do that, and it's like they're super fun and they're great, but at the same time it's like overwhelming though. There's like so much content in these games, and it can be a bit much for the way the game plays and the amount of reading you have to do. And like, I love reading, but man, it's like these games really, you better like reading because you're going to be doing a lot of it. Like,
yeah,
it is a no joke. Like, there will be some voice acting, but most of it won't be.
Yeah.
That's how much text is in these games. I mean, they're massive. Like Pillars of Eternity was like that. Baldur's Gate is definitely like that. Arcanum is 100% like that as well. It's an old famous CRPG from like the early 2000s. So they're fun games, but they definitely require a certain amount of patience, I'd say, and dedication. But they're worth it though at the end. That's like the weird part. Is like it's a lot of effort, but they always tend to be worth it. Like their stories tend to be pretty good, for the most part in my experience. So,
yeah.
And the combat wasn't bad in this game on PC. I remember it being pretty fun. It gets
fun
really
on Xbox as well, but like I said, I think I did myself a disservice by playing on an Xbox. But the combat is fun. Like if you like these type of games, or even if you're just not really into those type of games, I think this game is a really good introduction into that type of into these type of CRPG type games, because I don't feel like it's as hard as like maybe Pillars of Eternity or something of that nature, or Baldur's Gate, but it's a really good game. Like it's really fun to play. I'm playing as a rogue, and I'm just having a blast playing as a rogue.
Dude, rogues in that game were really powerful.
Yes, I actually went against a rogue boss, and it was
oh my god, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, she fucking destroyed my party at least 5 times before I just had to focus all my enemies on her or all my CC on her and just lock her down because,
Yeah.
man.
Well, yeah, your character too, because I played a rogue as well when I played the game, and I remember I was like one-shotting fodder enemies by the end of the game, like with backstabs and stuff. You're the multipliers get pretty crazy, so it's a good game.
Yeah,
I'd
I
like
do
to play
recommend
again,
it.
but-
I just recommend it. Play on PC. It's not very. Like you said, it's a 360 type game. So even if you have a mid-range PC, it should run this game at like 120 frames.
Absolutely, 100%.
No problem. You can probably run this on like a work PC or work laptop or something of that nature.
Easily, dude, easily. I mean, this was made in the time when 4 gigs of RAM was a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the game's old. It should run fairly well, I would think.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't have compatibility issues with like Windows 10, which I doubt it would, but yeah, should be good. And you can probably get it like super cheap.
It's only like 5. I got it on Steam. I remember when I got it on Steam, it was on Steam sale for $5.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much it costs now.
Did that come with Awakening or was that just Origins?
Let me check my Steam real quick. I think it was with Awakening as well.
Because yeah, Awakening is like a little narrative. I wouldn't call it little. It's a narrative expansion of the first game. But it's its own story, completely separate from the first game. It doesn't really, from what I understand, doesn't really touch on the first game's events very much. But it's in the same style as the first game.
Okay.
It's that isometric CRPG style. So it'd be interesting to play that actually. Even though it has like no bearing on the rest of the games, like I don't think it even has any impact on 2 or 3 or Inquisition even.
I'm really interested in seeing their design philosophy of why they changed everything, the way they changed it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm pretty sure that fan base that likes CRPGs wouldn't like Dragon Age 2.
No, dude, that game was
totally different fan
That game was
bases.
hyper controversial at the time. People were pissed because Dragon Age Origins was very popular. People liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I remember it got rave reviews. It sold pretty well and everything like that.
Yep.
So,
and their decision to go with action combat third person in the second game was a massive, massive controversy at the time. People were very upset with BioWare. So Inquisition kind of brought it back, though, I'd say. It like I think you said this last week, that it kind of married the first and second game in terms of, combat style and stuff. So I think 2 is kind of like the black sheep. And honestly, if you look at it, like the development cycle of that game, it was made in about a year. So I think it might have even been less than a year. Yeah. No. It's bonkers. Like they absolutely destroyed themselves to make Dragon Age 2. Like it was a complete just like year of crunch, and they somehow got that game out. That's why the game's so rough though, because it's like it was made on such a short timeline. It's full of bugs, it's buggy as shit. Like yeah, and it's not a long game either, from what I understand. So, yeah, it had a kind of a tortured development cycle, I'd say. Whereas Inquisition was much more. I mean, that game had a tortured development cycle as well, but it was at least a little bit more long term. It was over like 3 or 4 years rather than a year. So, yeah, BioWare's had it rough under EA.
Yeah, so you can get Dragon Age Origins for it's $20. What the fuck? But you can get it for that much.
Just wait for a sale.
But the first one, that's on Steam.
Yeah, so, just wait for a sale though.
Yeah, just wait for a sale. But yeah, if I was a fan of, I am a fan of this style of combat. But I can only imagine like them taking that and just making a fucking third person RPG, action RPG, and that's like not my shtick at all. Well, that is my shtick, but if I was a CRPG guy and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait for Dragon Age 2, and then
Montreal, think of the time period this is too, right? This is like the late 2000s. Like we had third-person action games were a dime a dozen at this point in time. People were mad because CRPGs were basically a dead genre, and BioWare was like the only one making them. So making this game and then turning it into an action RPG that you could get from any other publisher was really frustrating for people. And I can understand, like, it didn't, like, after Dragon Age Origins, the next CRPG to come out was Pillars of Eternity and Divinity Original Sin, and those didn't come out till like 2015 or 2016, something like
Wow.
that. So
You
it
guys
was
been screwed.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure there were others in there, but those are the ones that I remember. Those are the ones that are like the popular, well-known ones.
Yeah.
Like other ones in there, I don't even know. Like it was, yeah, man, it was rough. Like it was rough for a while. If you were a fan of that genre, it was kind of dead, and now it's much more like kind of revived now. We've got Divinity Original Sin 2, Pillars of Eternity 2. We've got Larian making Baldur's Gate 3. Like there's other games in this genre, and then you've got Wasteland 3, and I think even Wasteland 2. It's come out in the last several years, so there's a lot more in this genre. I think it's in a genre that like companies are willing to actually like make games for now. It's not necessarily a huge cash cow, but there is a dedicated enough audience that wants these games that people buy them. Back in the late 2000s, we were in the height of like DLC and microtransactions and publishers learning what they could do to squeeze money out of us,
Mhm.
and these games couldn't be monetized that way. So they didn't make them, and they weren't the super popular games like the third person games were. So I can understand why BioWare did what they did in terms of the direction they took the franchise, but I also 100% understand the rage that created from the fans, because I think people were afraid that they weren't going to get these games anymore. It's an interesting history with that genre and BioWare in particular, because they made a lot of them, like Neverwinter Nights and Icewind Dale and those games. So, any other thoughts on that game?
Well, no, I'm gonna try to finish it probably by the end of tonight, actually.
Okay. Oh, you're pretty far then.
Yeah, I am. I'm about to recruit the dwarves, and because I already recruited the main 3 factions, I believe.
Okay. Yeah,
And,
so you got through the part. Did you fight like the brood mother thingy or whatever?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Then you're very close to that. But that is like, I think that's the last section of the game right before the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay.
So I'm gonna do that, and then go into part 3.
Cool. Yeah, I've been playing I've been kind of aimless since finishing Final Fantasy VII, frankly. I've still been playing Apex, Gwent, Legends of Runeterra, and I do want to talk about Legends of Runeterra a little bit more. So I played a little deeper into it this weekend because they just released patch 1.0. So the game is like out now, and it's on mobile. And I've been playing it on mobile, and I gotta hand it to Riot, man. They, it's funny playing Gwent and Legends of Runeterra side by side, because Gwent is made by CD Projekt. Obviously, they're a very well-known, respected developer, but Gwent weirdly has a lot of problems as a game. It's very buggy. The patches that come out every month just don't seem to be well QA'd, because one came out this week. I think it was yesterday, and it has basically broken the game. It's like the game's unplayable. Like things are like effects are triggering when they shouldn't trigger. Units are getting boosts that shouldn't be getting boosts. It's like completely breaking the game. Things aren't predictable anymore. Like the card effects aren't happening the way they're supposed to happen. So the game is like literally broken, Whereas Riot with Legends of Runeterra, I mean, I gotta say, to be fair to CD Projekt and Gwent's been around for like 3 or 4 years, so they're building on a existing code base for that long. Whereas Riot's, it's a brand new game. But I mean, Legends of Runeterra, man, is really stable for the most part, and on mobile in particular, it runs really, really well. I have issues with some of the interface on mobile and the viewability of the game on mobile. But in terms of it runs really, really well. There are bugs and stuff, but they are tackling them like really fast. Like within a day, they're getting this stuff fixed. So it's funny because I haven't played any of Riot's games in a long time. Like I haven't played since early League. So they've changed as a company. They're a lot more, I feel like, open with the community, or at least with this game they are, it seems, because their developers are in Reddit like talking with the fans, and there was a post today about like bugs and stuff, like what they've squashed, what they're planning to squash in the near future and stuff like that. So they're being really communicative with people.
Riot's usually really good. I mean, despite what the community may say or may think, they're really open to feedback, and they will participate in Reddit posts. They do it on League of Legends Reddit all the time.
Yeah.
They just don't
Well,
do it as quickly as people would like them to do, but they do it often enough to more than other companies, in my opinion.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean the game. They also released like 120 new cards with the 1.0 release, like a new faction, Bilgewater. They added new characters, like new champions. So Twisted Fate got added, who is like one of my favorite characters from League. Uh, what's his name? Nautilus, who's like a giant, like he looks like a Big Daddy almost from BioShock. Misfortune, Gangplank, and
Oh, you got a lot of Bridgewater.
yeah. No, they added that whole like region as like one of the factions in the game.
Okay.
So they added champions from that region, and then there was one more, Fizz. I think he's like a little,
Yeah, he's like a little fish guy.
yeah, little
Like a
fish
little-
dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's really small, cute looking. Yeah, and honestly, I gotta say, I like the new faction a lot. It kind of has this really unique mechanic that I've never seen in a card game before, where your units get more powerful when you go deep, quote unquote, meaning that you've gone down to 15 cards in your deck, and you start with 40. So you have to like get rid of cards in your deck in order to make your units more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a really cool concept because generally in card games you don't want your deck to run out, but with this, this particular archetype, they are really, really powerful when the deck is low. So it's kind of cool. They have some really cool mechanics. I think they seem to have a clear vision with this game, what they want to do with it, and the generosity is like cool. It's like a really viable free to play game. I don't think you have to spend money on this game to enjoy it. I have a pretty substantial collection in like the 2.5 weeks I've been playing it, and it's like, and I am sitting on a lot of resources to buy more cards with right now. So it's pretty cool. I've honestly, it's like gotten to the point where I'm like remembering some of these champions because they've put a lot of the league champions in that I know into the game, and I'm like, man, oh man, I don't know. Do I want to play some League?
Yeah, there it is.
I was like, dude, when I was playing with Twisted Fate, because I remember him. He's like he throws like cards and shit, but he has like his abilities are like card abilities, and the different cards do some weird shit. Well, he does the same thing in Legends of Runeterra as well, where you play him and there's like 3 different cards you can play, and they have different effects. And then if you level him up, every time you play a card, he'll play his own card on top of that. So he's like really powerful when he's leveled up, but he's super weak like he is in League. Like he can die to like almost anything in the game, but so you have to like really protect him, but he can be really potent if you manage to.
Yeah.
So he's really cool, and it just like reminded me of him from League, and I'm like, man, I remember people dominating with that motherfucker. And it was really fun to watch because I felt like he was like a pretty high skill character back in the day. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not
there yet.
Not promising nothing. Not promising nothing, Montreal, because you've left me hanging with Dota for so long. I'm not sure I want to really like give this to you, but I'm thinking about it. All right. Yeah. Other than that, I jumped on Banjo-Tooie. Like I said, I've not gotten far. I probably played about 2 hours. I'd say I've gotten through the first world already. I'm on the second world, and it took me getting through the first world to really like be like, oh man, this game's super fun. I'm gonna like commit to this. So I think I'm gonna commit to this game. But because it's like one of those things. When you play like a puzzle game or a platformer or something that's like puzzle oriented and you know how to do everything already, it's not really fun. You're just kind of like going through the motions.
Yeah.
That's like the early part of Banjo-Tooie for me, is like I know what's gonna happen. I know where everything is. It's like, but from the second world on, I'm a lot fuzzier on things. So, now that I'm past that like early portion of the game, I'm pretty excited to keep going actually. So, yeah, but that's pretty much all I've been playing. So let us jump into the news. So our first story this week, you might be better explaining this than me. You're the one who put this in the doc, but Doom Eternal had a bit of a controversy related to their soundtrack, their original soundtrack for the game. Do you want to go over this?
So it looks like so there's a huge controversy over Doom Eternal, which is Doom 2. If you guys didn't know that, he only mixed 12 other than 59 tracks that happened. So Doom is really known for its obviously for its gore and stuff like that, but they also had high octane music to match it. That's what Doom, the original Doom, was when it got released on the Xbox. 2015 or 2016 Doom. I gotta say that had a really good soundtrack along with really good gameplay. So it's not the same with this game, unfortunately. The gameplay is really good, but the soundtrack is meh. A lot of people don't like it. It's not really mixed really well. So they had to get their lead audio designer to mix it. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of controversy because people were saying that, what's his name? Gosh darn, I just had his name. Mick Gordon. There's like, oh, he didn't get paid for it, and blah blah. He didn't get his royalties from it and everything like that. Well, it turns out he's actually did get paid for it. He's actually getting his royalties. ID Software is very open about that. They said that he's getting paid for it. He's getting paid for everything, despite not even finishing his work. They gave him more time, and they gave him an extra 2 people to actually mix the team. But he couldn't deliver on time. And if you know video games, you have to deliver at a deadline if they can't push it back. They even pushed it back a little bit so he can mix more tracks, and he still couldn't mix any tracks. For some strange reason, he couldn't finish the job. So they had to proceed with what they had, and they had to get their lead audio designer to do what he had to do. And that's why we have the tracks that we have today. This is an open letter on Reddit. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's really long. But you can read it, and it should be sticky on the Doom Reddit, and you can read it, and it's just an open letter from the lead designer to the community and telling them why this happened. And I once I read it, I'm in the middle now as far as like the whole controversy. It's the same thing that happened with last week with Gearbox. Like now I'm in the middle of the fence instead of just jumping on one side. So I think maybe for more controversies like this, maybe the creators need to come out and be honest with the community, because this really changed my viewpoint on not only Bethesda, well, not Bethesda, but ID Software, because I just knew ID Software wouldn't let this slide. As much passion they put into this game, they wouldn't let this part slide, which is the music. And it was really weird when it came out in that controversy. It was just really weird. And a lot of people were still blaming with Bethesda, but I was just looking at ID Software, and because they put a lot of passion into their games. So it's really cool that they actually, Marty Stratton actually came out and said, so he's the executive producer of Doom Eternal. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like Mick had been contracted for like 12 tracks, but he wanted to do more and couldn't actually get the more done. So they had to like just launch it without the rest. And there was some back and forth with him and some people on Twitter. So yeah, it doesn't seem like a clean situation, but you can check out that Reddit post, I guess, if you want to know more. All right, let's move on to our next story. This is a minor one, but cool one nonetheless. EA and Respawn, obviously it's May, and the Star Wars meme, May the 4th be with you, has been floating around the internet like it always does every year. And this year, though, there's a fun Star Wars game that everybody likes called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And Respawn has added some DLC to the game. It sounds like, so they for free, in fact, yeah. So it has a new game plus mode, and then some combat challenges that you can go through with Cal. I don't know if there are rewards. BD1 skins, but the challenges are supposedly tough. Montrell, are you going to jump into any of these?
I don't have the game anymore.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I don't think I do either.
Yeah, I don't have the game anymore. I took the game back. I know that for a fact. But I may buy it again. It's only like $30 now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I may do it for the new game plus, and on top of that, they have this other mode where you can make your own arena. So you can spawn as many enemies as you want to and things of that nature. I don't know if you can do if you can play against other people's encounters, but you can build your own, and which is really cool. I've already seen some funny ones. Somebody put like 10 Trillas on the map. And this guy was fighting 10 Trillas. And if you ever fought that person, you know how hard and frustrating that fight is.
So or you can fight, a bunch of Ogdo Bogdos. Fucking hate that thing.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, this completely came out of nowhere. Like we
Yeah, there was
thought,
no word of this at all.
yeah, and we thought, me and Justin thought, or actually the community thought that Respawn was just done with the game because they didn't really say they even came out. I remember the game first came out. They said they had no plans for DLC. So, I mean, I guess the constant sales of this game being, since we first reported on it, it's been in the top 10 every month, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
It has. It's still eking out the bottom of the top 10 for the most part.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm sure the amount this game is sold, EA probably was like, cool, yeah, go ahead, make something small. They're already working on the next game, but I think this is a cool way to flesh out the original game. I think a new game plus is natural for this game. It should have been there at launch, in my opinion, but it's cool that it's there now. I think anybody playing this game, that'll be cool. Like if I ever revisit this game now, I'll probably do a new game plus.
yeah.
So it's cool of them to do. Obviously, it's smart to do it on the 4th of May. With the May the 4th be with you jokes.
I'm glad it's a free update. Because like you said, that was my main complaint of the game. No new game plus. Like I didn't want to play the original story again with like my regular base powers, and
yeah,
I wanted to play through a new game plus. I remember we reviewed this game, so that's the only real reason I took it back, because there was no replayability. Like once you play it, that's it. And I played it on the hardest difficulty, so there really wasn't a reason for me to go back and play it again.
Yeah.
So I probably will go buy it again and play through it and play some of these challenges. And I want to say that you can play other player challenges, but like I said, I can't comment on that for sure.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
That sounds like something they would probably do. But okay, cool. Let's move on. So we got some E3 updates. Some companies are announcing their plans for E3 week, and some are announcing their not plans for E3 week. So EA is indeed going to be doing their little event. It's going to be on June 7th at 4 p.m. Pacific. They're going to be showcasing their games through a live broadcast like they have in years past. So I think we can expect a similar conference that they usually do. I don't know if it'll be truncated at all, like a mix of digital, physical stuff, or if it'll be all one or the other. I don't really know that. That's not really clear yet. But do you have any expectations for this? I mean, they said they have a lot of games coming out this year. Like, what do you think they're going to show?
For EA?
Do you think it's just going to be like Madden, FIFA nonsense like usual? Or, you think we'll get a peek at the next Star Wars game potentially?
So I do think we're going to get some Apex Legends stuff. Obviously, I think they're going to say some events for that. So? Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is a really popular game. Like I think that's their main cash cow right now.
We're like a week away from the next season starting, and that would only be a month in. That'd be kind of weird, but I can see it.
Yeah, you're right. I guess
maybe.
You're right.
Who knows? You might be right.
They may not do like a major thing. It may just be like, hey, here's some.
It could be an event or something.
Events, yeah.
Yeah, right. I can see. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say, like, I can see them announcing like another Sims, because it's been a while since we had like a Sims anything. So I can definitely see them kind of doing like a Sims 5 or Sim City, or we're gonna revive some kind of Sims thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to, and I'm not getting my hopes up for this. So things I'm gonna get out there right now. I'm not getting my hopes up for Dragon Age or Mass Effect at all. Like we may get like a trailer.
I don't think we're getting anything from BioWare personally.
Yeah, I mean, we may get like a flash of a title screen or something like that for the new game.
We already got that for Dragon Age 4. Like,
oh, okay, so yeah,
I don't think we're getting anything. Like, if we get anything, it'll be a title thing for like the Mass Effect project. That's probably, and I think that's unlikely personally. And
I'm not holding my breath for any remasters at all. A lot of people are holding their breath for either Dragon Age remaster or Mass Effect remasters.
I doubt it too.
I doubt it. I don't think we're going to get anything. Simple fact that I know for PS4 players, you guys have that luxury of going backwards compatible. But for Xbox players, I mean, all of them are backwards compatible, and you can just buy them on the market and play them. So
right. PC, they're all available. So
yeah, I don't think they're going to do a remaster anytime soon for those games.
Now they did just announce Battlefield 6. You think we'll get some footage of that?
Yes. I wonder what they're gonna do for it though. Are they gonna go to the
Okay.
future or so what's funny about this is this this battlefield is called or this battlefield the battlefield that they have, the most popular one is called 2120. Well, it's like a futuristic battlefield.
Yeah.
And next year is gonna be 2021. So I wonder if they're gonna do some kind of spin on it and bring back the future battlefield that everyone wanted.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. But I think we're gonna get a first look at Anthem though. Like
Oh
Anthem
yeah,
Reborn.
that's a good call. I didn't think about that. Yeah, dude, it's been a while since we've even talked about that game. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. I could see that. Like a peek into what we might get, or maybe even a release date. I mean, it's been a while, dude. Like they should have something on their hands at this point.
Yeah, it's been we've been quiet. I know you've personally been quiet on it for about a year. So
yeah, I mean 8-9 months. I was thinking like August is really the last time we even heard anything about this game, and that was basically a confirmation that they were remaking the game.
Yeah.
So I could totally see that for sure. I mean EA's got a lot of stuff they could talk about, I'm sure. So I mean, I doubt it's going to be a great conference. They never really have good conferences. They tend to be stupid and it's more filler and mobile games and shit.
I think they're gonna. Yeah, I think they're gonna. Oh, what I did see a rumor that they are trying to revive the Command and Conquer series. Right, that's
they're doing a remake similar to the Age of Empires HD remakes.
Okay.
So they're remaking some of the old Command and Conquer games. I don't know if there's a new one in development or not.
Okay.
But basically, it's their version of Reforged for Command and Conquer. But Age of Empires 2 did it before Reforged did. So
okay.
So I've known that's in development though for a while. Like that one, I could totally see a release date coming for that. They actually like fully unveil it because they really haven't yet. So I could see that too. That would be pretty cool.
I just remember when the mobile game was like released.
Oh,
maybe that's what like fueled them to actually do a re-release or like a remake or a reforged version of it, because I remember so many people were mad about that.
It was a dead franchise, and EA just comes out on stage and is like, "Hey guys, there's a mobile game. You guys have phones, right?" Fucking Blizzard 2.0 over here.
That meme would never die. You have a phone, don't you?
You have phones, right, guys? That poor man. He is infinitely immortalized in meme culture, internet meme culture. Like he'll never live that down.
That's so unfortunate. We may get some more. Another thing I think we may get is Plants vs. Zombie stuff. I know a lot of people like us don't really play, but that game is like insanely popular.
Garden Warfare 3, right?
You say what? Yeah, Garden Warfare 3.
Warfare 3, right. That game's in development. We haven't actually seen it though, as far as I know. So yeah, you could be right about that too. That's a good call, man. We got the scoops here, folks. We got this whole conference just ironed down. We'll see how many of these we get right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure half the conference though is going to be FIFA and Madden, and then they may be like, "Hey, we're going to try another Tackle Alive again," but that's probably it.
Yeah. Oh man.
But you know what? At this point, I'm so tired of 2K. I'm gonna if they announce another live, I'm gonna buy it. I don't even care how bad it is. I'm like, you know what?
Dude, they might. Like we talked about this with NBA 2K20 came out, 2K20 came out. Like EA needs to do it this year to take advantage of last year's bad will for 2K. So that totally is on the table too. I feel like if they're smart, they've got that ready to go. But we'll see on that one. I'm not holding my breath because they just can't seem to get those games out anymore.
Because I've been waiting for another basketball game. It's killing me. Like first, we don't even have any sports to play or to watch, and then I don't have a basketball game to play because I refuse to touch a 2K game. So it's been really tough for me.
Yeah, so hard. Okay. All right. Well, other E3 stuff. Microsoft has confirmed they're going to be doing monthly videos up until the launch of Xbox Series X, I think. And the first one's happening this week on the 7th. So we will probably have some coverage on that next week, depending on what they show. The PC gaming show is actually going to be happening as well, and that's going to be on June 6th. So that usually is a funny, kind of weird show. So I don't know what to expect out of that other than a bunch of indies, and maybe like Star Citizen comes out and is like, hey, we still exist. Hey, give us money.
I saw an update for them. You can now eat ice cream sandwiches in the game.
Oh my God. You want to talk about scope creep. A few months ago, I'd say in December, like late December, I was bored one day and I had this morbid curiosity about this game. And I just went on the Reddit and just looked. And dude, oh boy, it's a thing, man. They have this roadmap that extends through like 2022 and it keeps getting delayed every single quarter, dude. And it's just like they have like a single player game they're making related to Star Citizen. They're still working on Star Citizen itself, obviously, but dude, just the amount of shit they're trying to get in this game is absolutely ridiculous. This game is never coming out, and it's made like $200 million in crowdfunding. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I was one of those people who bought a ship and played the game.
Oh, no, they got you. Oh,
bro, as soon as I built my PC, I was like, yes, I can play Star Citizen now. And I bought me a ship, and I spent $100 on the ship, and I bought me a ship, and I played it for 2 hours. I never touched it ever again.
Was it fun?
No. I would not recommend that shit to anyone.
Because I think it's inevitable that game is just not going to be fun. It's
either not trying to be a simulator. It's trying to be a simulator, and it's trying to be a game. When I was flying the ship, the ship controls are on like an actual simulator. So I don't know how to fucking fly a ship in space. So I didn't know what to do.
Nobody does.
They did have a multiplayer mode, which is like it was like a worse version of Call of Duty. They had that, and I remember playing that for a while, and then I stopped playing, and that was it.
Yep. All right, last one on E3. Nintendo, it is being rumored, and this seems pretty legit at this point, that Nintendo is not planning a Direct for June, that it's kind of being blamed on coronavirus, and it's kind of impacting their ability to get things shown. And they're planning for something later in the summer, so I'm assuming more like late July or August time probably. So that's disappointing, but
that's a weird time.
It's not unexpected though. I think a lot of companies are probably going to do similar things here in coming weeks. So once we find out a date for that though, which we probably won't until like a week before it happens, we will let you guys know. All right, next story. This is our second to last story. This was a weird one too. This is 2K. So 2K, this was actually announced by the WWE first, that there will be no WWE 2K20 game this year, or 2K21 game rather, this year. And then 2K came out and confirmed this news. Basically, they are saying that they want to take a year off from releasing this game so that the company making it can make a better game. But the history here is that this game was actually made by a Japanese developer, Yuke's, and that had been this case for about 20 years almost, since like the early 2000s, I think. They had been making WWE 2K, and it got taken away from them with last year's game, and it was given to
I remember this story.
Visual Concepts. And they obviously last year was a fucking dumpster fire for this series. Like, it was one of the funniest memes of the year last year. It was just like the bugginess and the glitchiness and the just disastrous launch of this game. It was impossible to avoid. Like, you probably saw screenshots and GIFs from it, I would assume. So I mean, it's notable. I don't like, this was kind of more of a story before 2K said anything, because it was like, when the WWE announced it, it was kind of like, oh shit, are they taking the license away from 2K? Are they pissed at 2K? Like, what's going on? But no, that's not the case. 2K's retaining the license. They're making a game. They're just taking a year off, basically, like Assassin's Creed did a while back, to kind of make a better game, which makes sense. But interesting the way they rolled the information out. Makes me wonder if WWE went off script a little bit.
Yeah.
with that. But
I
yeah.
just remember the 64 games, man.
Did you play those?
Oh yeah, I did. I had so much fun playing the WWE games with my like little brother and stuff. Just playing like SmackDown versus Raw, and
Right.
it was just fun as hell. In what was it, NWO versus WCW, and
Mhm.
man, those games were like super fun.
Yeah. I've never been a wrestling guy. I just, I don't get it.
It's
I don't get it.
understandable. It's
I don't get it.
understandable.
I don't get it. It's such a weird culture. The cross section of people who are into wrestling is one of the strangest things I've ever seen. It's just
It's not that strange. I mean, it's entertainment. Like
understood.
it's a we all know it's fake, but it's like it's like
Remember-
somebody watching stories like
Yeah.
soap operas, right? But you're
Yeah.
seeing it live, and it's just funny. I don't
like
know.
it's a live studio audience. They're not like it's not like pre-recorded.
Yeah, so it's just like a stage play every week, and you have instead of like actors, well they are actors, but they're like super buff and they're trying to wrestle each other.
Fake
And they
ripping
get-
each other's heads off.
Yeah, they get into these insane like wacky things, like people got hit by cars, and obviously it's fake, but like they've been outside the arena like, oh, Stone Cold's coming to the arena, oh, The Rock is just hitting him over the side of the head with a pipe, and it's just like
I mean, I've heard some of the calls, man. They're hilarious. They are really funny. It's something. Sure.
So,
I mean, do you remember when it wasn't like we didn't know it was fake, but we thought it was fake? You remember those times in the late
Yeah.
90s? You remember that shit? It was like this huge controversy, and then it came out like officially somehow, and then nobody cared, and wrestling's been fine ever since.
yep. I
It's
still
just
watched it.
such a funny. It's so funny to me. Interesting stuff. So, all right, let's move on. Last story of the week. This is a follow up to a story we've been talking about for like 2 fucking weeks now. Last of Us Part 2 leaks. Sony has come out and said that they have actually found the identities of the hackers, and it is not anybody affiliated with Naughty Dog, Sony, or anyone that they are affiliated with. It is basically some hackers got access to Naughty Dog's servers and leaked the game that way.
But how? Someone had to give
Montrell.
them that information.
Do you believe this?
No.
Is my question. Because I highly question the validity of this. This feels like a cover-up, PR cover-up stuff, because
Okay, so
they've been getting slammed about how badly they treat their employees the last few weeks, ever since that Jason Schreier piece came out.
yeah, no, I don't believe that. Only reason is we're a small company and no one's attempted to hack our shit yet. And it's like, and I don't even know how we can hack our stuff. So it's like for a company like Naughty Dog and Sony, this had to be, even for what the hacking was external, someone leaked them the information like, hey, this is our servers I need you to hack, and this is what I need you to do. Like, it had to be from an internal source. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I just don't believe that per se. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad they found the hackers and stuff like that, but I really don't believe that it still didn't have anything to do with their employees. I think they had to still do an internal investigation to see what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what to believe here. I think this could definitely be false. This could be true too. Like I could see it, but it just seems so convenient that the perfect solution presented itself to them, like in terms of getting the heat off Naughty Dog and off themselves too. So,
and that says a lot, because I'm usually a conspiracy theorist here, but you're like, nah, this is some bullshit.
It's just something doesn't smell right, dude. Like it doesn't smell right. Like the timing is like really like Naughty Dog is at their peak of getting slammed right now, dude. Like I'm seeing videos on YouTube basically saying that they deserve to get this game leaked because of the way they treat their employees and shit. Like people are mad at them, So, this feels like damage control to me. But either way, the game's leaked. So does it really matter at the end of the day?
I mean, the studio head is really shilling it up. I mean, he should, because this is his game, but
yep.
He's really trying to do damage control on Twitter and stuff, and articles, and saying like, "Oh man, this game made me cry. The story's really good, and more of the best stories ever." And
I mean, didn't he write it though? Like partially write it? Like it almost feels a little self-congratulatory, man.
That's what a lot of people were saying. They're like, wow, even Kojima doesn't hype himself up like this.
Oh man, that's a high bar too to
Yeah.
surpass. So I don't know. I think I need this game to come out. I'm sick of this shit. The fact that we have like 6 weeks until we can play this game is just irritating to me. I'm already over this whole story. Like I just want to play the game.
Is it 6 weeks or
move on? Yeah, it's June 19th, dude. Like it's May 5th right now, day of recording, and yeah, it's just like we're gonna have to deal with this for the next 6 weeks, and I'm over it.
Like I told you, man. I think they should just release it like next week because I'm tired of hearing about it.
The game went gold too this week. They announced the game's gold, which means it's done.
Yeah,
you know. They are printing discs right now, like with this game. So, I mean, I wouldn't be against it. Obviously, I don't think anybody would, but they're not going to do that
because there's already a lot of people out there that's like, I'm glad. Like one person I talked to a lot, he's like, I'm glad that it leaked because I'm good. I'm spending $60 on it anymore. Like I don't really care about it anymore. Yeah. And I think this is really hurting their bottom line. I don't think it's going to be super detrimental, but I just think waiting 6 weeks is going to be really tough. I mean, a lot of people are holding out, but a lot of other people are just like, as the weeks go by, I keep seeing more and more people say, hey, I'm done with it. I don't even care anymore. I look at the leaks.
I thought about it this week.
Don't do it, Justin, please.
I know. But I thought about it because I feel like the likelihood of me getting through the next 6 weeks without being spoiled is really low.
I think you can do it. I think if you know how to, well, you don't get on Twitter that much, so you're okay with that.
I know. And I've had some close calls recently though, where I've like clicked on a tweet and it's about The Last of Us 2, and I start reading the replies, and I'm like, I'm in the danger zone right now. I need to get out of here. I need to exit stage right, or I'm getting spoiled. So I was thinking about just like ending this on my own terms and being like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go watch the spoilers because I'm probably still gonna play the game. Like context matters with this stuff. Is like it's only like 20 minutes to the end of the game or something like that. I mean, I don't know how much it is, but however much it is, like if the game's 20 hours, like, and I only have 2 hours of footage that is leaked, like it's 18 hours of gameplay that I don't have context for, so I don't, it won't completely ruin it for me, but.
Well, a lot of people are making assumptions, like the leaks that I saw, I'll say this. A lot of people are making assumptions on what happened in that scene, but nothing actually happened, if that makes any sense.
Dude, I'm seeing a lot of angry, like, oh, it's SJWs ruining The Last of Us and shit. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, what even happened in this game? Like, that's my problem. I'm, like, annoyed now because I'm seeing all this shit. And it's like affecting my expectations for the game now, Like, I'm expecting this, like, moment to happen in this game that, like, ruins the game, And I'm like, or doesn't ruin the game, and I like get annoyed at these people on Twitter who are calling this like SJW game or whatever.
I think they're upset because it's implied of some kind of romance, but
it's obvious. It's in the trailers. Ellie's a lesbian. That is a confirmed thing. She's a lesbian. In the beginning of this fucking game, she's in a relationship with somebody. Like that is in the trailers. In the trailers that they've shown.
Well, I think that does bring up an interesting conversation. So
get over it. Just get over it.
I agree with you. People need to get over it. So I'm a straight black male. You're a straight white male. And I put up, so I think a couple of days ago, rather, Respawn was like, hey, we're making, Jedi Fallen Order 2. We're making the game. And I'm like, cool. But can we play as I was like, cool. Can I be black or can I play as another alien race?
No, Montrell, you have to be a white man.
And that's what it. So that right there, right?
Yeah.
I was like, can I? Because I remember you even said this. You're like, yeah, I don't want to play.
Dude.
I don't want to play as another chosen white guy. And I'm like, I said that. And then people are like, oh, it's a part of the story. It's the stories.
Oh,
it's not about the race. It's the part. It's about the stories. And I'm like,
that's
bro,
the point. Like they're making the argument for us, dude. Like it's not about the race. Okay, then what's the problem with being black or fucking Asian or like a different race within the Star Wars universe? Like what is wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Is that so hard? No. Okay, it's a white guy. Okay, great.
So and then people were like, well, you didn't like Kyle? I'm like, no, Kyle was a great character. I like this character. I just think it was really safe. We could have had another story. I'm like, we don't have to do humans. We can just do another alien race.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Universe is fucking huge. Like, why do we keep going back to humans? And I was called an SJW. They're like, oh, man, you just an SJW. I'm like, what? I was so bad. I had
that's
to
gonna be my nickname for you next week. Montrell Rice, the SJW.
I was so bad, Justin. I mean, I'm laughing at it now, but
shit.
I was so bad.
Oh man, I wish I was on Twitter. I didn't see all this.
You didn't see it? Oh man, I was ranting.
I saw some of the aftermath. I think of you like talking to people and be like, "Man, I got called an SJW." But these people are, dude. It's Twitter, Montrell. It's Twitter. These people are like, I'm starting to feel like the people on Twitter, a lot of them, like just the general masses, are like low intelligence people that think they're high intelligence people. You know, it's like they're fooling themselves. And I'm not saying this is everybody, but I think a lot of people that like do this, that like go at you like this, they don't think about what people are saying on Twitter. They literally see something, read it, and make the snappiest judgment they can, and then they post what that judgment is. You know. And it's like, that's the problem with Twitter. There's no nuance. Like, you post like, oh, God, why couldn't we have played like a black guy or a different race within Star Wars universe? And, oh, you're an SJW. No, maybe there's more to your opinion than that. But, like, that's the most important piece. So that's what you say. You know?
Yeah.
It's like.
My thing was like, people were saying like, well, you know, the side characters, you know, your counselor or your master is a black female. And I'm like, yeah.
But you're not playing her.
You're not playing her, though.
Who cares about her? She sucks anyways. Fuck her.
Like,
she should have died to Darth Vader.
She should have. Like, that was some bullshit. I just watched the ending scene again, and
bullshit.
Threw her off.
I was 100% right about that. 100% right about that.
But I said like, he's like, man, well, you play Couture, right? And I'm like, yeah, I play Couture. I'm like, I love Couture. There's like, well, you can make your character in there.
It's not the same thing, though.
And I said that, and I was like, well, if you want to really go into it, I was like, lore wise, he's a white guy. Like if you play you play Star Wars: The Old Republic, you do a mission, or not a mission, but a dungeon where you have to invade the relics of Revan. And when you do that, he pops up. And he's a white guy with a beard, and it's like, I'm like, oh, this is Darth Revan, and it's like, cool. That's not the guy I remember. I didn't make Darth Revan look like that.
Yeah, so. and dude, I think the thing too is like you don't have to. I lost my thought.
I'm sorry.
I'm so upset about this. When you're making a character in one of these games, I bet you if you looked at the statistics for like KOTOR and too, the percentage of people that made a white guy is probably very, very, very high. It's probably the majority of players, I would bet you. So I don't know. This is an opportunity to put in diversity where it doesn't feel forced. That's kind of what my argument was. And
that's what I was saying. I said, I don't want diverse. I was like, first of all, I don't like forced diversity. I don't like, hey, we got a black person just for the sake of having a black person. I wanted to have a story, like a weighted story behind why I'm playing this particular character. Like, just don't put a black person in there and you can, you know, it can be the same thing. That's kind of what my issue with Cal was, right? Like, you can put any other person in his position and the story will play out the exact same way, if that makes any sense. Like, you could have put an alien race character being trained by the same Jedi master, same events happen.
Yep.
What besides Cal? Cal doesn't have a legacy, so we don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's different from like
he's
Luke
a blank
Skywalker.
slate. He could have been anything. He could have been anything. He could have been a woman. Like it didn't matter what he is, and the fact that they chose a white guy is the most boring thing they could have chosen. Like that was my point about it. But I don't know. Like
and that's what I said.
I guess I'm an
like,
SJW too, Montrell.
Yeah, because you just tired of the same old like boring. I was like, I'm not mad at the white people that we did. Like, if people are like, do you hate white men? I'm like, no. What are you talking about? I was like, I don't hate white people.
Linked into the podcast, dude. You've been like, hey, listen to my podcast.
Oh, I did say that. I'm like, one of my good friends. I do a podcast with this white. Is a straight white guy.
Did you use me as your token white friend?
I didn't though. I didn't.
I'm playing.
So I was just like, because I knew I was trying to refrain from saying that, and I did, thank God. But I was just like, I'm like, all right, man, I don't hate white people, but whatever.
That's
If you
so
want to go
funny.
that way, you can. But he's like, yeah, I don't understand why you just why is because it was one guy I was debating with, and he was like, I just don't understand why you're against we have Ray. She's a female protagonist, or I'm like, yeah, I'm not playing a video game as her. He's like, well, what about the Star Wars Battlefront 2 girl? I'm like, come on, bro, it's not a Jedi, and on top of that, that campaign was ass. Like everyone unanimously agreed that campaign was really
Well, this
bad.
argument's harder to have now that the game's out too. I feel like because I think some people actually like really like Cal as a character.
He's a cool character. I like him.
But whereas for me, I don't have a particularly like huge attachment to him. If he dies at the beginning of the next game, I'm gonna be like, okay, cool, that's ballsy, I guess. Like I'm not gonna be like sad about it, you know.
I think people are. This is where I think people get their things mixed up or their feelings mixed up. I don't think people are in love with Cal. I think people are in love with the game.
Mm-hmm.
And Cal is just a catalyst to that game.
Right.
If they had
he's who you play and you experience every event through him.
Exactly.
He's not particularly interesting on his own, though.
That's my point. And my point is they can do like a Dragon Age type thing to where you're not the same character from Dragon Age Origins as you are in Dragon Age 2. So they can do the same thing for Fallen Order, right? You're not the same character. Maybe your events are coinciding with Cal's events. Like I think the next game is going to be Trilla. Like your events are coinciding with his events.
That'd be cool.
As far as her adventures as a Sith Lord and being under Darth Vader's wing. That's what I think. But
yeah,
they
that'd
may
be
just
cool. I doubt it though.
Yeah.
I think they're just I think
Cal's just going to play it safe.
They're going to play it safe. It's going to be your normal sequel. Hopefully.
I just don't know where they can go with it now because that one took place right before. That was in between 3 and 4, right? Like episode 3 and 4.
It'll continue to be between 3 and 4. It'll just be they're going to be on a different adventure, and maybe Vader will have more to do in this one, like in the next one. But
what about like Ahsoka and all of those? Those are canon people. Like
they could be involved. Yeah, they could definitely be involved.
Yeah,
I can see that. And even leading up to like Rogue One, even though that might be the third game or something like that, they could do a tie-in with that.
Yeah,
because that's so close to the beginning of the fourth movie. But I could see them doing tie-ins with existing Star Wars lore. But I'm interested to see more of an exploration of the Jedi. I guess that's kind of what I'm hoping for in the next game. I don't necessarily need I don't need him fighting the Empire like toe to toe. I don't really ever need to see that personally, because I think that's the thing is like I'm really hoping that they don't have a power trip with Cal and they don't power scale him too hard. Like I don't want him fighting Vader straight up ever. Like I don't really ever want that to happen because that just seems unbelievable to me, and it will always seem unbelievable to me. And like I'd rather the game take place the way this game did where he's always kind of on the run and trying to hide,
Yeah.
That's kind of more what I want. And like he's good at doing that and he's successful in his missions and what he's trying to accomplish, the goals he's trying to accomplish, but it's like he's always trying to like do stuff underneath the Empire's radar, That's kind of what I want to see, but I don't know. We'll see. He did fucking attack the Sith like Inquisitor temple, so we might already be beyond that point. So,
my God, don't. If he becomes like a equal level with like Jedi with like Luke or something like that, I'm gonna be so upset because that's like
it's gonna happen though. That's my problem with these games. It's like I think they're gonna be really predictable. Like this game was pretty predictable, and I think this next one is probably gonna follow suit. Like I'm not gonna be able to tell you beat for beat like what happens, where they go, but I think like him fighting Vader just feels like an inevitability. Like I don't want it to happen, but I think it's going to.
Well, they always had the same tropes, right? Like even in Couture has that trope where you have, you got the Jedi or the chosen one or Jedi or whatever, and then you have like this smuggler type guy who has a ship, and you convince him to join your cause. Like like Luke and Han Solo and Cal and the one weird alien guy. It's like the same trope. So I just want them to mix it up. I understand it works for this universe, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it really makes me wonder what other stuff that was going to be released that got canceled. So
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, like other games.
Yeah. Because aren't they working on another Star Wars title? They're still working on another Star Wars game too, right?
I
The
think
shooter.
they are. Yeah, I think they are. Word. Well, all right. Let's leave that there. We got really off topic there. Let's get back on topic and finish the show out like we always do with game releases. There's really not much coming out this week, man. I'm seeing like 4 or 5 games maybe. Nothing even notable that I even know what the hell it is.
Yeah,
But,
I don't see anything.
Pong Quest. Does that sound fun to you?
What?
Pong Quest. Yeah.
Pong Quest?
Yep.
The fuck is that? Is that like the Pong game, but you're in a quest?
I have no idea. You like run around a world and then you play Pong to finish like quests, or that's how you like battle is you play Pong. You gain experience and make your paddle better.
I guess. I mean,
yep. Sounds really thrilling, right?
got the Atari collection coming out. Well, that's not for another 2 weeks. Never mind.
Nope. Yep. Yep. That's a while from now. All right. Anyways, I guess that's it. I guess that's the show, guys. That's it. That's where we're gonna end it, I suppose.
Yeah. No.
Montreal, you got any other topics you want to discuss?
No, that's really what I want to discuss, the HJW thing in video game culture. That was pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got you. All right. Well, if you guys like this episode, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And if you could, please share it with your friends. We would really appreciate that. If you'd like to talk to either of us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montreal. That is the number 4, not the word. I am at ThunderNut01, and the show is at the Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter or send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And one more reminder, YouTube, Saturday morning. We will be on YouTube. This episode will be on YouTube, maybe a few others. We'll see. We're going to be filling the backlog in over the coming weeks. So, we'll see a few more. So as we get enough gameplay to put up for those episodes, we'll be doing that. So, that's going to be it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you on the next one. All right. Bye, guys.